All right, today I am lucky enough to be joined by Marty, my favorite rocker, Jannetty. Marty, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm getting ready to. I'm up here in Boston right now. I'm gonna be here a couple of days. I go over to
Okay.
Japan and whoop the butt over there. So that's
Oh,
why the hotel background.
it's a fine background, Marty. So what's
Yeah,
going on in
man.
Boston?
Well, I got to do a podcast. I got this Party with Marty podcast I got up here that I
Okay.
co-host actually, and we're gonna do about 8 episodes here in the next couple of days, and also. Survivor Series, what they call watch along. This pandemic thing has changed. Everything's different now. You know, it's like
Yes.
cyber signings and cyber watch alongs. Whereas you used to go to the like right there's the Unos. I know some pretty girls in there.
And keep talking.
Yeah, but we've been trying to get this thing, so I just figured they'll be here tomorrow night.
Okay. I'll check. I'll call you same time, same channel.
Yeah, Boston's got a lot of pretty girls.
All right.
And
Excellent.
I am single, so I get to look.
All right. What's your best pickup line?
No, I ain't got no pickup line, man. I suck at.
Oh.
That's
a stupid question, right? You're Marty Jannetty. You don't need a pickup line, right?
Yeah, it's a matter of what's their pickup line.
Right. Yeah, I stand corrected.
Nice. I go to clubs. I go to strip clubs, and I end up giving the girls a lap dance.
So do they take you to the back room and they pay you, or do you guys negotiate fees?
No, man, I do it for free when I've been drinking.
Oh. What a guy. Ladies, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind if you see Marty at a local strip club. So let's jump into a recent story. On your social media, you had put on that you had actually killed a man in your younger years as self-defense.
No, I never said I killed a man. I said he disappeared.
Okay, great. In so many words. You never said the words I killed a man, but insinuated possibly.
I never knew it'd get so much attention. That was actually, it was setting up a storyline because I have a friend that wrestles that was a correction officer. And, he got out of it. He became a wrestler. It's a real good one. And you ever see that movie Sling Blade?
I have.
Like them mustard and biscuits. He looks like him and kind of grunts around like him. I mean, that should be his character, his next gimmick, Sling Blade.
Okay.
Nice. But he was a correction officer. So what the angle was going to be was, because some of the story was kind of, the best storylines are based off some real stuff. Doesn't mean all of it's true, but it's based on. Yeah, but anyway, I worked at the bowling alley when I was 14, and I used to buy weed, and the guy that was working the front desk, he was selling the weed. A lot of the guys that worked out there, the young boys that worked out there, they would hustle him because he would pay them $40 to take a car ride or whatever they did, and he'd give them a VJ and $40 to do that to them. And so when I got the bag of weed from him, we went out in the car lot in front of the bowling alley, and we sat in the car. He gave me the weed, gave him the money, and then he reached over. Me being friends with the other young boys, I guess he thought trade. He would try to trade, but he reached over and kind of grabbed me right in the crotch area, and he goes, "What's this?" Yeah, he goes, "What's this?" And I yanked away. He kind of panicked, like, "No, I'm not like that. Let's go back inside. We got the weed. Just get back inside." But that was the end of it. So I added a little to the story to make it, a wrestling storyline, and to where the guy took me around back and he tried to rape me, and I had to hit him in the head with a brick to get him off of me, and then the where it was going to go before it got it didn't get national attention. It got worldwide attention, and man, Japan. I have my friends in Japan, Germany, England. It was like 4 different places sending me the copies of the magazines. It was on the front of the sports. Ex-rocker Marty Jannetty murders. Man, I'll send you some of the clips if you want to stick them in the thing. But
Yeah, I'll put him in the link for the interview, definitely.
yeah, and I was like, man, I wasn't expecting all that. It was just a storyline I was working off my Facebook, which is where I do most of my work, is off my Facebook. That reminds me, y'all come see me there. Y'all see some crazy stuff.
Confirmed, yes. I can confirm that. True story.
But it's all in fun, usually.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Usually keyword.
But what I was going to do was, his name was Darren Kelly. He actually wrestled. He used what he did in real life. He was a guard. That was his name, his wrestling name, the Guard. And but what I was going to do was go around the country, around what we call the loop, looping around, and they'll have him call me out, like, you got away with murder when you were 14, but I'm here to. What it was going to be was like he was a disgruntled ex-policeman, and he wanted to get back in good graces. So he was going to grab me and take me in to get back in good with them. But, my thing was going to be, in order to do that, we have a match. If he beats me, I go peaceful. If I beat him, he leaves me alone. He don't bother me no more. No more trying to take me in. That was going to be the storyline. And son of a bitch, the actual Columbus Police Department started looking for me. Cold case files got opened up. They did a search for the body everywhere, because that happened back, when I was 14 years old. So, that's like a long time ago, in 1974 or 5, something like that. And man, I was scared to fly up. Like, I had to go to Boston right after it happened. I was scared to fly, because I was afraid they'd get me right there at the security, and like, we got him,
Wow.
And it was, and I still kind of wanted to do it, but my brother said, you might want to just let that one go.
Right.
That one, you got him stirred up and calling you a murderer over in Japan, in Germany, yeah. But
if you got him talking in Japan, you did something right.
Yeah, I like to stir it up a little bit sometimes, though.
Was this your own version of almost Nails and Big Boss Man or something? Got the prison guard.
It's very similar. I don't know if that's where the idea came from or what, but I just know one day I was sitting around doing nothing, and I started thinking of what can I do wrestling wise to get something, something good going. And I thought about, for some reason. Oh, I know what it was. I'd gotten. I told one of my girls. I told her, I said, last time somebody hurt me was like when I was 14 years old, and it was that, the guy. That's what I was saying to her. I thought, I can make this into a storyline, and it took off from there.
Oh my goodness! So not a true story, folks.
No,
the first part was true, but the whole
it was
not true.
It was based out of some truth. As I said, that's why most storylines work best if they're based out of truth, because it's realistic.
Just like your character. So your character, so Marty Jannetty, you're going to be the best Marty Jannetty when it's basically you times 10. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right. Because for me, I've always been the rocker. The rocking and rolling, partying, and all that, the wild lifestyle. That was naturally me. Shawn had to. Shawn was kind of a goody boy at first.
At first,
and when they put us together, then everybody, I say everybody, he changed. We got into it, and he loved it. He loved it. It's not hard to like, chasing girls every night and partying.
Right.
Just make
You're gonna be chasing girls tomorrow in your hotel room, right?
Well, actually, as soon as I get through with this interview, the front desk girl was pretty cute.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to wrap it up, probably.
We had a conversation because of my buddy up here lost some money. He thought maybe he dropped it up front, so it gave me an excuse to talk to her, because he paid for this lovely room.
It's a fine room. Yeah.
But
so talking about you and Shawn Michaels, was that just a perfect fit putting you guys together? Did you guys have this instant chemistry, or did you have to, figure something out? It seemed like it was just so natural.
It was. We got thrown together in Kansas City one time, and where we first met, actually, Central States. It was NWA back then, and it was Central States area territory.
Okay.
And somebody didn't make it, and they had a tag team match. It was against Scott Hall and Danny Spivey. They were the American Starship. And you talk about two big old boys, man.
Oh yeah.
Scott was 6'6", Danny's about 6'8", and muscled up, and like we were like, what the hell? And we were just both 6 months in the business, you know, and they were new too. So we were all new guys out in the ring trying to make that work. But Shawn and I got in there, and you know, they threw us together. Hey, you two guys, you go out there. You look like you could be a team. Same age, you know, kind of young and whatever. And they when Shawn would be in the ring with one of them, I'd be watching from the apron, and I'm seeing like things that were available for him to do, and I'd be like, man, if he just brings him over here and shoots him that way, I can. And as I'm thinking it, he's doing it, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. You know, it happened a couple of times, and I found out later that when I was in, he was doing the same thing. You know, he told me in hindsight when we went over. He would say he would see something like, yeah, Marty would do this, take him there, running down, grab it. And he said, and then he would see me doing it, and he would be like, wow, we think alike. But it was a connection, it was a chemistry that you can't teach in school. You know, wrestling schools, you know, there's just some things nature does, you know. It's a blessing. And, yeah, when we left the match, you know, we looked at each other, you know, like, and he said, I think he was the one who said, did you feel something in there? Something? You know, yeah, I felt it. I said, we became one. Two became one. I mean, we worked as a unit, you know, a oneness about it all, you know, where and we did that too, all during our career. We never had to call a spot. We never had to say, hey, shoot him in, do this. You just look at each other and it would connect. We knew what we wanted to do. So, you know, because a lot of guys talk in the ring and they yell out stuff, and the ringside people are hearing it, which is horrible.
Yeah. And sometimes we'll see as fans, you like maybe communicating or moving your lips when you're laying on the mat. So none of that between you and Shawn.
Yeah, we never had to talk. I remember this one guy. I wanted to say it was Jake Roberts, but I don't. Jake Snake. I don't think it was him. Well, we'll just go with him because everybody knows who he is. But
sure,
just take an example, like somebody was talking so loud, and it wasn't Jake, because Jake would be good. It's good, but you know, ringside they could hear it, and then somebody said, so one of the ringside people said, "Hey, shoot him in, give him a tackle, drop down, and hip toss him." And Jake slid out the ring and looked at the guy and said, "I'm calling this damn match."
I mean, that sounds like something Jake would say. So
it might have been Jake, but I'm just not sure.
Nice.
I love old Jake. I miss him, man. I ain't seen him since I was living out in Vegas a year or so ago.
So talking about Shawn Michaels, obviously your longtime partners, would you have considered him a best friend, a good friend, acquaintance that you just worked with?
At one time, we were as close as two people you get. You know, we were like brothers. We became, I mean, like real brothers. You know, we're all brothers, the brotherhood. But we were like real brothers. I mean, you know, we traveled together. You know, rented the cars, we traveled together. Sometimes guys would ride with us. A lot of times they didn't want to be up partying all night, so they didn't. But we roomed together, you know, back in our younger years. Well, I can't say too much because he's, you know, married with children. But we had fun. Back then he wasn't, but still, you know, it's not good to be saying he's got a family now. But you know, we lived the rocker style life. To put it that way, if I can. Okay. There were a lot of women, and you know, everything. We ate together. We trained together. We was around each other. Of course, we wrestled together. So we was around each other 24/7. You know,
you're truly a package deal. Wherever I saw Marty, Shawn would be close behind, no matter where it was.
It'd be like if one of us didn't see the other for a couple hours, the day didn't feel like, what's going on? Something's wrong.
Where's my other half at?
I mean, and for 7 years, when we first went to WWF at the time, you know, like Bret Hart came to us, Anvil came to us, one of the Rougeau brothers. There was somebody else, I can't remember who it was. It was another tag team. But they was Oh, that might have been Davy Boy Smith.
The Bulldogs.
Yeah, they all came to us after about a week or two that we'd been there. And I remember Davy said, "Oh, you fucking guys, you run each other too much. That don't work here." And we're like, "Well, we've been doing that, for the last 4 or 5 years. We're fine." And I think Brett said, Anvil and I never room together. We don't even ride together, and it works out best that way.
Okay.
and because we were so close, like brother, like Raymond and Jacques. I like calling him Jacques Rougeau because the only reason I call him Jacques is because he don't like it. He's like, "That's not my name. Stop doing my name like that." So what do you think I'm going to do? All right, I won't do it no more.
You're not going to fix the pronunciation, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then, but I love him to death. Otherwise, I wouldn't joke around with,
Oh, absolutely. He's a great talent, too.
Yeah, they're brothers, and they came up to us and said, sometimes we even need a break from each other. But Shawn and I never did. We for the first 2-3 years there in WWE, and we was on the road 300 and something days a year.
Long time.
And then what happened where it actually starts, I hate to say this, but where it started a little edgy at the time on each other, it was just that, to me, Shawn was always kind of a little hard on the fans.
What do you mean by hard on the fans?
He would, of course he would sign autographs. He'd be cordial, but he didn't really want to spend, like that's it. It's sort of like, okay, look, I signed your autograph, get out of here. That kind of thing. I love hanging out with the fans. They're my people, they're my kind of people. Hell, they came to see me. We must have something in common. And he'll tell you this. At the beginnings, he was a little bit raw around the edges. He was a little arrogant and cocky. I mean, he admits that, and you felt when you talk to him. I told him one time that we used to go to one of my best pickup lines you was asking about.
Well, I thought you didn't have a pickup line. I thought they came to you. I
didn't. All I would do when I went into clubs with Shawn, that's now. But when I go into clubs with Shawn, I'd just tell right behind him because now he'd even go into clubs with a tank top on. The only reason they let us do that is because they knew who we were. Well, I didn't go with a tank top. I mean, Shawn, he would always wear his gold gym tank top and, proud that he's a wrestler and everybody's looking, man, beautiful long blonde hair. And I guess the girls thought a good looking guy. And I just held behind him because as soon as the girls would talk to him in the club, and as soon as he would talk, they'd be like, and then I was like, no, come here. He didn't mean it. He didn't mean it.
So he got your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just held behind him and get the ones that he just pissed off. For example, one time we was in San Antonio, his hometown, and there was a strip club there called PT's. All the boys went to it. It was good to us. What I mean by that is they catered to the boys. Food, you have to pay for drinks unless you was just drinking too much. Everything they catered to us. They liked having us there because it drew crowds to come see us. Well, we were in town, come see us at the strip club, and we had TV taping once, which means everybody's there. And I was like on the first hour or second hour, me and Shawn were. I went straight I got cleaned up, went straight to the strip club because I have one of my dancers there. One of my girls was a dancer there. And
you were a regular, basically.
Yeah, when we were in San Antonio.
Okay, and they knew they were on a first name basis, or were they Mr. Jannetty's here, or they knew you were going to take care of them?
Who's that? The girls?
The girls, yeah.
Well, Tara met her the first time I went there. See, I really didn't like to go to the strip clubs too much because I go to the regular clubs. Trains of thought on it with the guys. I think it was Jake. He goes, "Why go spend all your money trying in hopes of getting them naked later when you can start with it already naked?"
What? Great advice.
So Shawn, this just gives you an example of what I mean by, when Shawn opens his mouth back then. Um, so I was already in. I think Warlord was already in. We're all sitting together. And, Warlord's huge. When he came in, the way the door was set, there was a street light behind it, and inside the strip club's kind of dark. So every time the door opened, that light would shine in. You could see like mostly a silhouette. And so everybody would look to see who's coming in. Like Undertaker come in, and everybody in there's like, it's Undertaker, look. Vince McMahon came in that night. Oh my God, it's Vince McMahon. It's the owner. Look, it's Vince McMahon. Davey Boy, that's Davey Boy, the British Bulldog. Everybody that would come in, they'd all be. So Shawn he come in late. He come in way later. And this had been going on for a while. He didn't know it. He comes through and everybody's looking and he sees everybody, staring and looking and all. And they're like pointing at Shawn Michaels. But Shawn thinks they only did that for him. And he looks at the girls. He goes, don't make them like this anymore, do the girls? And he goes strutting on in, and they were all like, oh, God. He didn't notice. He thought they only did that because it was him. He didn't know they did it for every one of us. But that's the kind of thing.
Wow. At what point do you think Shawn's personality or his ego came into play? Because he wasn't like that at first.
Well, I mean, he came in with one, and this just kind of made it worse, didn't it?
Repping the Falcons.
Yeah, I got the Falcons jersey. See, it says
nice. What jersey you got?
Julio Jones, Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, good choice. Excellent. Dig it. So Shawn Michaels had an ego right in AWA, right in the beginning. He always
I don't want to say he came in as a little rich kid, but he kind of did. And
so it just got worse.
Yeah, well, you're a rich kid. You grow up as a rich kid. And he was pretty good at sports. I think he was like the stud of the football team. And you go from that at 18, 19 years old to pro wrestling that you loved your whole life. And you got people asking you for autographs and cheering for you and stuff. That's a lot for an 18-year-old to take on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure.
And we had a saying in the business, too much too soon. And, it was definitely that. But we were able to tamper him and tame him down a little bit from that. And he got better. But then when we went to WWF, here it come again, because now we're big time. Now we're at the top of the game.
Yeah.
With the top player with eventually. But
a second ago we couldn't see your eyes. There you go, perfect.
Well, and I used to tell him, like, when he'd go to the clubs and he'd act up sometimes, try to be ugly to people that he didn't want to talk to. If he didn't feel like talking to them, he would just say something ugly to them. And
can you give me an example? Give me an example of what he would say. Would he swear, or would he say something derogatory toward a woman? Or
I can't think of anything because it was, shit all the time, and it was so many years ago.
Right.
But it was just kind of step aside, let a real man through, or some to that effect.
Okay.
And there was many times that the guys wanted to gang up on him and shit. And I'm like, fuck, we got to fight our way out again tonight. Which we actually never had to fight too many times. As long as you stood up to them, they would usually back down. There was a couple of times though.
What guys did you have to stand up to?
Guys in the club. When you go to a different.
It wasn't necessarily some of the guys, some of the brothers.
No, not the boys. No.
Okay.
No, in clubs and stuff. Because when you go to a city, a town in particular, like a smaller city, you got your people there who are, they're the big shot of the city or the town. We would call them towns when they're small.
You guys are taking over.
And then you come in and get all the attention from everybody. It kind of gets to them a little bit. Then all of a sudden they're getting testy, and so you're going to get that anyway. That's another reason the guys bond so tight, because we have to watch each other's backs all over the country. And we go out, especially when we go out of the country, the other countries, because sometimes you can't speak the language and people will take advantage of you, knowing that you don't know what the hell is going on, you don't know the customs. the culture and all that. And so, you know, you got to have each other's backs. You know, we're the only ones speaking English over here.
And you probably trusted Shawn with your life, correct? If something you got into an altercation and you needed help, he was going to be probably right there, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I think so. I would say, I don't know that ever happened because I never, that I can remember, if I ever put it that way, ever got in.
So you're kind of hesitating though. So are you almost thinking, so say you're getting ganged up by several just people at a bar. You're thinking there's a possibility he would have shied away or he wouldn't have came to your aid?
I think he'd have been right there to help out. I don't know how much help he would have been, but you know, I think he'd have stuck his nose in there and got it. You know, if he got punched, got punched. But yeah, I think he would. Luckily, I don't think it was more me coming to his rescue. I don't think he ever had to run to mine. That's what I was trying to say.
Did you ever have to give a fan a rocker dropper?
Good thing I didn't. I probably got sued more than $500,000. I lost $500,000 in the ring.
Chuck Austin.
Chuck Austin. Yeah, he did the move wrong. He tried to do it like a DDT, and he came down. Can't get this in the camera. He come down his body like this, and it crumpled over top. His head was underneath, and kind of popped out from under his head, his body. I guess it snapped his neck. You know, when I landed backwards, I couldn't see how he landed, but I knew, well, I've never landed back like this, you know, so this move didn't go too good this time. But I had no idea. He dove on his head. I just thought it, you know, the bump didn't go too well. You know, he didn't do it very well. And you know, when you look at it on camera, it's like, oh God, you know, it was bad. But,
I watched it many times. He clearly took a move wrong. It wasn't your fault. I mean, I'm on the outside looking in. Looked like he 100% just did it wrong.
Yeah. He, you know, he told me, and because we had to go to court 3 years later for the lawsuit. He told me, he said, I said, all right, now for the finish, we'll set you up, you know, yada yada yada, do this, do that. So, and then the rocker, they named it. I don't even think I had a name for it. They call it the rocker dropper. Say they WWF at the time. But I was going to show him. He goes, oh, I've done it many times. He goes, we help run a school. And he said, I've done it many times. I know how to take it.
He took that move many times?
That's what, he said he used to do it. Do it at the school.
That was a very rare move from what I saw. Like, I don't know that anybody else did it besides yourself, at least at the time.
I came up with it one time and invented.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how did he take it many times when it didn't really exist that much?
He'd seen it. I guess what he was saying is he'd seen it on TV. He'd seen me do it, so he, you know, practiced it at school.
Or he just liked it.
That's what he was telling me. You know, everything was, you know. And here's the real deal. What it was he was, you know, he's a new guy, and here we are. We're doing a national TV taping in Tampa at the Sun Dome, which held at that time 16,000. He's never been in front of more than 300 people. He's in front of 16,000, and he's going to be nationwide. Yeah. So, you know, the new guys get excited about that, and as much as nervous, but they get excited because they're getting to be seen nationally. So they're not going to say, no, I can't. Look, basically what he was doing, he wasn't going to say, no, I can't. I don't know nothing about it. I'm not sure about that. Because they might take him out. You know, in his mind, they might take him out of the match. You know, so, you know, he was going to say, oh, yeah, I can do it. I've done it many times. When he was saying it, I didn't know. I said, well, let's just step through it once, you know, just to make sure. And he did. And, you know, you got a pancake flat. He goes, I know I've done it. And he was almost like he was it was insulted that I was, you know, trying to show him more. But, or make sure.
That's how, when you were explaining it, that's how I was taking it. Almost like he was offended when you were bringing it up.
After a couple times, like I wanted to put the leg over, and because you also got to get in timing. You know, you got to bounce together. You go down, up, and then he kicks his feet back, goes flat. So you got to get in rhythm together. You got to bounce together. And I wanted to do that one time just so we did get the feel. But you know, I could tell he was thinking that he was just thinking I didn't think he knew what he was doing, kind of thing. You know, it wasn't that. It's a different move. You know, and now, you know, Billy Gunn started doing it. He made it famouser. Famasser. What's her name? Was it Kelly? Kelly, one of the girls was doing it. Became world champion. That was her finish.
Right.
You know, I see it a lot of times now, but it was new then. I just created that in the ring. You know, Shawn and I always would go out to the ring early and go over things like, what if we did new stuff? You know, combination things or new move type things. And you know, we come up with a lot of that's what made it. So you didn't see the stuff that we'd done and never saw it before. It's because we get to the show early, go out to the ring, and you know what else we used to do? Sherry Martel made fun of us once. You guys are playing with dolls, but we would get the action figures and put them together, like see what they could do. Like, what if we threw one guy into the ropes and then take the action figure and he comes back and you flip him and grab a hold behind and twist or whatever. And we're like, hey, let's now that we see it here, now let's take it to the ring, see if we can do it. The action figures did it, but you know what I mean? We used them for to figure out stuff. I mean, we was always trying to come up with new stuff.
So we're talking about Chuck Austin. So obviously it's absolutely terrible what happened to him, the injury sustained.
Yes,
but I also felt bad. I felt bad, like, how do you get sued and lose the $500,000? Don't you have insurance, or is WWE not have you protected? Do you not sign a waiver? That's confusing on my end.
Well, when you said everything right, yes, he did send a waiver. Yes, there was insurance. But when you're a multi-million and now $1 billion corporation, welcome to the greed of America. It's not about right or wrong. It's about who's got the money and how can we get it. The legal system, you know, I'm friends with Donald Trump and I like him. I think he did good for us. I know my Democrat friends are going to hate me for that, but hey, he's my damn friend. When I'm going to turn and walk away from my friend. Plus, he did.
Well, you were friends with him before he ran for president, though, right?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Way before.
A long time. You've known him for a long time.
Yeah, and he put the country in the best shape it was in. You know, and then that virus that China. That's just the future. That's biological war. They did that shit on purpose. It wasn't no mistake.
You think so?
And well, I mean, he was kicking their ass on trade wars, and when I say kicking their ass, he was just making it fair. They'd been ripping us off all those years. He didn't deal with it. See, a lot of people think because what they see on TV is what they get. DT is not that way. He's such a gentle. He's not a giant. He's kind of he's a good size, 6'2". But he's a gentle, nicest guy in the world. But he puts on the facade for the other countries. So they see like, damn, this guy, well, we can't mess with him. That's all it is. And it works. He's not a dumb man. You don't become president of the United States and never been in politics by being stupid. You simply won't do it.
Sure, but, sure. Do you have a good Donald Trump story, or when you were out with him, or when you saw him, or anything like that?
There's a couple of them that stick out in my mind. The first time I ever met him was at Trump Tower. We were doing WrestleMania 5 at his place, and we were staying. At that time he had Trump Towers and Trump Plaza, and we were staying one or the other. And I think I was staying in the one where it was actually having the show, the WrestleMania. And that day we did a photo op thing with it, you know, and you know when you're I was to say celebrity, but I don't know if wrestlers are celebrities. But when
I would say so.
You think so?
I would definitely say so. Yeah.
I would say, but I like to say, TV personality. Because you say celebrity, it's almost like, hey, I'm hot shit. And I don't feel that way about it. It's just like, hey, I'm on TV, that's all. But, we meet a lot of people.
I'm sure, yeah.
As Randy Savage once said, you slither with the snakes and you soar with the eagles and you meet everyone in between.
Great Randy Savage, by the way.
Well, hell, we spend enough time together.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, with him and I got real close at one time, especially when Elizabeth left him.
This is in real life after they got married and had their real life divorce.
Yeah.
Is what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. She, for whatever reasons, I didn't never ask her. I just told him I was there if he wanted to talk. And boy, I probably shouldn't have said that because he never talked about it until we was flying back home from Japan.
Okay.
And it was Japan to Tokyo to LA is a 14-hour flight. It's a long ass flight. You can watch 4 or 5 movies before you land.
For sure.
And if you drink, well, you can get drunk, pass out, wake up, and drink again, and get drunk, pass out again.
Right.
And a lot of
Something
guys
tells me you've done that a time or two.
Well, not just me.
So we're talking about Randy. Liz left him, and you actually opened up. He opened
up.
I
guess you were saying? When we were flying back from Japan, had a couple drinks. I was in, he was champion or whatever. The champions are always up in first class.
Sure.
Most of us are back in the regular seating. And he had the waitress. He had a seat next to him available, so he went and he got the waitress, the stewardess. I mean, same thing, right? So
perfect.
Terry Taylor used to call them the higher end waitresses. But she come back and got me to sit up front with him, which was good because the drinks were free.
All right, sign me up.
Yeah, but we got a few drinks in us, and he started talking, how it was hurting him, and for half that flight, about 7 hours, I didn't mind because that's my friend. That's what you're supposed to do. And we kind of, the proverbial cried on my shoulders for like 7 hours of that 14-hour flight. But I mean, that's when we bonded the tightest because, later he realized, because he just let it all out. It was like the floodgates opened. He let it out. And then later on, he realized, like, damn, Marty stuck that out with me. And so, I mean, he didn't really like bond with too many people tight. He had a lot of friends, but he didn't really get close to none of them. I think that's probably where him and I got real close.
Yeah, when we talk about him and Liz, so you hear about how he was a little paranoid. He didn't like Liz talking to the guys. He'd hide her in a closet. I mean, is there truth to that, or people? Yeah, it seems like maybe people are exaggerating the stories, but I wouldn't know.
Probably a little exaggeration and probably a little bit of truth mixed in. And I don't blame him. Look what's on Ridiculousness. They just had you on there.
Oh, very good. But, what are the chances?
They had their issues. I mean, he was I don't blame him not even that much. Well, I can't find out where that camera is. Where's that camera?
What you did that was perfect. I saw it. We saw it all here. Yeah.
Okay. Because the boys, you got a better chance of putting a sandwich on top of an ant pile and no ants get in it. But
and Liz, of course, was absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, and there wasn't that many women around. So, I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from, especially if,
Well, but the part now, and I don't know anything about this. I don't think Jimmy Hart would tell a story like that wasn't true. But
right.
If he was gone for 7 days on the road after they took her off the road, if he was gone for 7 days, he'd go out and buy her 21 TV dinners. So she didn't have to go to get no food. She didn't have to go nowhere to eat. She'd just stay at home until he got back. And that was the kind of thing that started driving her crazy. She didn't. Who wouldn't? But I don't know. Like I said, I don't think Jimmy Hart would say that wasn't true.
Yeah.
But I don't know it to be true. I mean, Jimmy said it.
Yeah.
But and like I said, I believe that. And that's, I guess as the Wolf once explained to me, I gotta show you this. He says the Wolf says if you got a diamond in your hand, you do this. Because if you do this, anybody can snatch it. And that's kind of how he was with Elizabeth, because he loved her to death. He didn't want to lose it. You know who the Wolf is, right?
You talk about the Wolf pretty frequently on Facebook, I've noticed.
Yeah, he's my older cat.
Yeah, you've got a pet. You got some pet cats. You got a pet mouse.
I also now got a pet crawdad, crawfish.
Oh wow,
We
you got
went,
quite the. Who's watching
yeah,
all your pets?
what's that?
Who's watching all your pets while you're talking to me in a hotel room?
They take care of each other. Hell, they
Oh,
take
very
care
good.
of me. They get worried about me when I leave. Do we
So I should
need
be
to go
worried
with
about
you?
you more than the crawfish.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, "Are you gonna be okay? Should we go with you? I can get in the bottom of the bag and hide." Yeah, the crayfish had picked up. Some people call them crawdads,
Hmm.
uh, crayfish. I think up north, up here where I'm at now, they call them crayfish.
Get into Liz's legacy. So, where would you put her in terms of female valets, managers? You put her up at the top. Should she be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, because I mean, she played that role perfect. You know, because she was supposed to be the timid, I love my man, oh my God, he's crazy, type thing. She played it because it was almost fitting of her personality, real.
Yeah,
So
that's
that, again, a shoot becomes reality. Um,
yeah.
and yeah, I think she did great,
She
for what her
rarely
role was.
talked, but like you said, that timid character, just the facial expressions, the way she would look, or oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's Randy doing this or doing that. She perfect.
Plus, with him, I guarantee you, they went home and he had her studying, studying videos, which she probably like. Most of the valets, like once they're done with it. But the guy's like, no, 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 come here, let me show you what you could have been here beating on the mat. Don't beat on the mat over there. Don't touch the guy every 5 minutes, because if you're touching him all the time, it means nothing when you trip his foot at the end because you've been doing it the whole while. Stuff like that. But the females
Sure.
back then, at least now they're into it. Back then, they just wanted to do what they had to do, and let's go home and let's go do something else. Leave the wrestling at the arena. But no, if you're trying to get better, you have to, you want to do it right. You have to
Yeah.
study. Yeah.
So let's hit you with the hard question. Did Hulk Hogan really have lust in his eyes for Liz, like Randy said?
I would say no because he was very respectful of anybody's, not just Randy's, but any of the boys. You always respect each other
Okay.
and family, and especially wives and girlfriends. Uh, so I would say no. I know where Randy first got the notion that Hulk was getting too friendly with her when they had shot the angle and they were
Great
going against each
promos.
other.
Yeah.
And Hulk had to slide outside, if I remember correctly, something to this effect. But he had to step out and jump outside the ring and either pick Elizabeth up and put him in front of him so Randy would back up, or Randy was going to jump Elizabeth. He picked her. Either way, he picked her up around the waist, but Randy thought his hands were too close to her boobs when he
So it
picked her up
was
and like
okay.
set her aside. He
Hmm.
thought that his hands were too close to her boobs, so it went sour from there on. But what the real thing, as far as I know, once again, I don't know, and I don't want my boys getting mad at me for telling the story wrong, but this was the word that was out.
Okay.
Um, Hulk and Beefcake, and I love Beefcake. Him and I are good friends, and his wife Missy. Hey y'all. um, but I forgot what I was saying. Oh, they were all on the road, and Beefer evidently didn't go, and Linda, I was saying McMahon, Hulk's wife.
Yeah, his ex-wife, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah. Um, invited what's her name over because she had
Liz
nothing to
to
do. Liz over, and Beefcake was spending the night over there or something other. So it was a thing where Macho Man thought that was all set up. It was all a setup, to
okay.
get Beaver and her to be together.
Oh
Something
wow.
like that. That's when that was like the end of it all. That's when things really went bad. But I mean, I'm not accurate. I may not be. I might be,
I
but I
I've
may
seen in
not be accurate on
documentaries,
that. So
Linda.
don't any of y'all out there repeat that because it
Right.
may not be accurate. But it was something to that effect. It was something had something to do with and I probably shouldn't be telling this to the world. but I
Well,
think
it was
it's
a long
known.
time ago. You're doing the best to your knowledge. But Linda Hogan actually was in a documentary, and she said something similar along those, almost exactly what you said. I don't recall her saying anything about beefcake. Not saying that's
Yeah.
not true or not, but she almost said exactly what you had just said, by the way.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I thought
so there's got
pretty
to be
much
some type of truth to it or
because
something.
there's a lot of stuff I'm not going to tell y'all that I do know. Not on that. I mean, all the
Just
boys
in
and
general.
girls. Yeah.
All right.
But, you know, that
So
one I felt is safe because I figured it was out there. I figured everybody knows
it
that.
is, yeah. And like I said, you're not trying to give misinformation if you're wrong on one small fact. You're going off of your memory. It was many years ago. Where, if anything, we're honoring Liz and Randy's legacy.